Guys, just Prophet here. Today it's on the 29th of October 2025. We're recording live at 4:23 p.m. right here in Kenya. And today my recap is about the games that I've played, which I got the award Nick of Time from just.com. The Nick of Time. Those who don't know what the Nick of Time is, it's the Nick of Time is an award given to someone who has won a game with less than 1 second on the clock. And most of my games are played with 10 milliseconds of the clock. And I'm gonna show you some games. First up, we're gonna start is the game I won just 20 on yesterday. It was yesterday against 4 2000 from Italy, and I opened with a Reti. I opened with a Reti opening with a knight on f3, and my opponent played opened with the Fencito bishops, the queen side, and then I continued with my pawn to d4 and c4, and placed the knight on c3. This is basic opening criteria, and he developed his knight on the e7 square and prepared to castle on the king side. And then I developed my bishop because I found no other better square to develop it, because he had pushed his pawn to g5, preventing my bishop from coming to the f4 square. And we continued on, and I locked up the center so that his light squared bishop can be blocked out of the game. But his dark squared bishop became so powerful on the diagonal. I consolidated my rooks, traded the pawn. He attacked my pawn, but so I attacked his queen, but he pushed his pawn, his f pawn, and I had to trade it with my pawn. I developed my rook. He had a double attack on my pawn, on my a pawn, on the pawn on a4, and I just left it out. And so I returned my dark square bishop to a3 square to prevent more him progressing his a pawn. And I brought my rook. Okay, he forked. He had a fork of my queen and my rook. So me playing my rook take the rook on f8. It's a switch and zug, and so that I can save my queen in the next move. He double attacked my c pawn with his bishop and his knight. Took it with a knight, and I retreated my bishop back to its original square. He traded my bishop for his knight, and then attacked my pawn. So I moved my knight to try and return it back into the game from the h2 square. I sacrificed my. It wasn't a sacrifice. It was a miss. Let me call it a miss. Okay, no, it's not a miss. It wasn't a blunder. It wasn't a good move, because right now I'm down material. See if you may count. He has two bishops and a rook, and I have, after trading that, I have two knights and a bishop for. Okay, so now I have a bishop for his. I have a knight for his rook, and that is down material. So now I sacrificed my bishop to open up his king side, and I ended up taking with the knight. He attacked my knight, and so I took his bishop with my knight. And when he took, I protected my queen with the pawn. And it was at this moment that after he played queen b8, I realized that I had an attack and I was close to mating him. So I gave him a check with the queen on f3, and then followed it up with a queen on f7, and then mated the guy on d7. And that's how I mated the guy. I mated 4 2000 with left with 10 milliseconds on the clock. And that was an amazing game. I had no winning opportunity the whole game because I locked down the center. I locked down the center on move 10. No, on move it was actually move 11. When he attacked my D pawn, and then I locked the center. It was on move 12. I locked down the center and he pushed his pawn. And I had nothing for the whole game. But luckily I uh, I gave I sacrificed my bishop, my dark squared bishop, for to open up his king, and I was down on time, man. I had no winning chance in this game. I had none. I had nothing, but I ended up winning. That's how it was lucky. Okay, I didn't pre-move. I didn't pre-move these moves. I just played them very fast. Yes, and that's how I won the game. Okay, so the second game that I'm going to show was against Otubawe. He was rated 1525 to 5 at the time of playing this game. He's from the United Kingdom, and I was rated at 1488 because I got 9 rating points at this game on this game. And after playing this game, it's when I was awarded the Nick of Time award by chess.com. Let me show you the game. He opened the king's pawn at e4, and so I played my what I normally play with my Fenkero bishops, and so he hung a pawn, so I took it, of course, and then retreated my light squared bishop after it was attacked. Developed my dark squared bishop and developed my knight. He attacked my f7 pawn, so I defended with a pawn pusher to e6, and he attacked it again. He wanted to sacrifice his knight with his knight on e6, so that you could capture it with a bishop and launch an attack on my king. So I pushed a pawn to block off his light squared bishop, and he retreated, and so I developed my other knight and castled my king side, and I pushed my c pawn to c5. He didn't take it, so I forked his queen and light squared bishop. Okay, and then pinned his knight to his queen. Okay, he moved his queen, so walking out of the pin, attacked his queen, attacked his knight, took his knight, and then retreated my knight. He defended his pawn, his e pawn. Then I developed my queen out of its home square on d8 to h4. He pushed his for queen trade. I declined the queen trade and I hung the queen on the next move. He took it, of course. He's great. He's a 1500 player. So I took the pawn. He attacked. Okay, so I won a pawn after that exchange. Of that exchange, I developed my rook. I I did a rook lift because he would have. I wanted to get off the back rank, and so he attacked it again. I developed my rook to attack his queen, and so I tried to cage his king to trap it, but he had an escape, so I attacked it again, and he hung his queen on the next move. So I saw that, of course. So I won. So I was up the exchange because he's up the exchange because he has a rook for my bishop. Okay, but I was up a pawn. No, yes, I was up a pawn because my doubled f pawns, and he had an extra. He had a pawn on e3, which means that he had an extra pawn on the queen side, while I had double pawns on my king side. So I went on the attack. I consolidated my pieces. He attacked my knight, but she wasn't a threat because I knew he wouldn't have sacrificed his rook. He sacrificed his knight to get an attack, and so I attacked his rook. Okay. He tried to pin my knight to the king, so I protected it, having missed this idea of attacking his rook to prevent any h4 business, and so he played h4 and we traded that, and he was up the exchange because he has a rook and I have a bishop, but I'm up, have an extra pawn, okay, but he's off 2 points of material. So he attacked, he came, I moved my pieces, I put all my pawns on the light squares, of course, that they can be defended by my light square bishop. Right now he has 25 seconds against my 9 seconds of the clock, okay? So I had no move to play, I had no forward mobility, so I backed up my king. I tried to go back to defend my pawns, but he attacked me again and I retreated back. He took my h pawn, and so I attacked his king. He retreated his rook. So I moved forward, trying to get an attack, but he took my f pawn, and so I retreated my king. He took my okay. After he sacked, I guess at this point, uh, he realized that he's down on time, and I am even low on time. So he tried to give me an unexpected move so that I wouldn't know how to react. So after he played that move, I had pre-moved to play with my king. So he lost on time while I won, and that was how I. I mean, I had flagged the guy. I wouldn't say flagged because he was winning. He was winning. He was winning. He was winning. I just won on time. But kudos to me, man. I mean, I was the winner of the game, and so I'm proud of myself. Okay. Yes, and okay. So the next game I'm going to show you, the third game I'm going to show you, it was against Kilato. He was a 1256 rated player, while I was a 1326. He's from Italy, and let me show you the game. I opened with, of course, my knight on f3 and the d4 pawn. Okay, I attacked the center, and I opened up my late dark squared bishop. I traded it. He traded it, so I continued with h3, and he developed his knight. I locked out the center, attacking his queen. He really attacked his. Okay, I traded my late squared bishop for his knight, and he replaced it. So we're playing knights against a bishop. My two knights against his knight and bishop. Let's go bishop. He won a pawn, and I took that and castled. He attacked my rook, and so I attacked his queen, and he retreated, and so I won. It was a double attack. Again, we ended up. He hung. He hung. Actually, he in this position. Uh, I had attacked. It was a double attack on the b5 pawn and his knight, and he forgot he had a knight on the d3 square, and so he took it. He pushed his, and so he wanted to promote his b pawn, and so in this position, he wouldn't have taken my pawn because I would have it would have led to a back rank. Okay, and so that's why he wouldn't have taken my pawn, and it would have led to a back rank. So it was a tactic, and so he pinned my queen. He pinned my knight to my queen, and so I retreated my queen. He pushed his pawn. I protected, and then I developed I reroute my knight, traded it, and After he made a queen, I did I moved my king from the check and moved this king. So he attacked my f pawn, and so I played my knight to g4, giving him a check. He came forward. I took another pawn, attacked it, and then he went on a king run. I I ate most of his pawns. I won another pawn, gave him a check, gave him another check, and then he came attacking. He took my h pawn. I took it with my king, and then he began giving me checks, and then I ran my king out. He took another pawn. I ran with my king. He attacked my c pawn, my advanced pawn, and so I shielded that with the knight. I took his remaining pawn, continued giving me checks, and then I ran off to the b7 square where I hid behind my pawn and my pieces. My knight and my king defending me, safeguarding me. Okay. Then when he moved to the e1 square, I promoted and he played to c3, and we both had 2 seconds of the clock, of course, as you can see. And then I gave him a check with zero point 0.8 seconds remaining on the clock. He protected the check, and then I took his queen, delivering a checkmate on a5. It was a ladder mate, actually. It was a ladder mate. Yes, I mated him with a tenth of a second. I mean, amazing. He had 1 second left on his clock. So yeah. This next game is against a 12, 17-year player. His name was Islin from Argentina. At the time of playing this game, I was rated 13-11. And I had the white pieces, and I opened up with my usual opening with a reti, with a knight on f3, and my dark square bishop on f4, and my two center pawns, the c and the d pawns, and then I would have developed my other knight and my light square bishop on the e2 square. That's how the opening transpired. And then I attacked his. Okay, so I pinned he attacked he took his upper pawn. He took my b pawn with his dark squared bishop, and so I attacked his center, and then I castled kingside with 3 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock. He attacked my king. He wanted to checkmate me with uh with his bishop on h3 and my on. He wanted to checkmate me on the g2 square. I traded off his light squared bishop, his rook, his knight, and then I won a pawn and he won his d pawn on d4, and then we were equal material, and then he won my c pawn, and I wanted to checkmate him on. I was planning on checkmate him on the g7 square with my queen and my rook supporting each other, but he attacked first, and I walked out of the checks, and he defended the g2 square with his rook. And so I gave him a check, then gave him a second check, and then he brought his king to the center. I took a pawn so that when he takes with his queen, I take his rook, and I continue giving him checks. Checks. He gave me another check. I moved my king, and he put his queen on the f5 square. I brought my rook back to the a5. He checked me on h5 with his queen. I shielded myself and my pawn. started pushing his pawn. I won a pawn on his a6 pawn and won his c pawn, and he moved his rook. He brought his king to the attack, and I moved my king aside, my rook aside. He wanted to take me to g2 again with his rook and queen. I protected my g2 pawn with my rook. He wanted. He then moved his rook to the h file. He had prepared to checkmate me with his queen on the h1 square, and so I gave him a check first, and he moved aside. Then I gave him another check, and then gave him another check, and then it became a ladder. It was a ladder mate, and so he moved there, and then I checkmated him on the c7 square. Well, he had only a tenth of a second on his clock. And to end this recap, uh, I'd like to say that to win a game with 1 second, with less than 1 second on the clock, it isn't that hard actually. Yeah, you'll just have to have a fast. Let's say if you're using your phone, okay, using a phone will be hard because all these games I've won them on my laptop, and fast internet connection, and the first, let's say your mouse should be fast and your hand should match the speed, okay, and maybe your calculations should match up the pace, because in fast internet connection you need amazing speed, you need amazing calculations, and yes, that's all I can say for that. Yes, and most likely an open king, or maybe if you have a checkmate inside, so you remove the moves, and that would be amazing. You can pre-move actually on chess.com, but you'll have to enable the pre-move so that you can go for the faster mates. Yes. And thank you for watching this game. Like, subscribe, and comment below the video. And let's wait for another stream. Thank you. Have an amazing day, and enjoy more shots and more videos to come. Thank you.